going to blame him with Benny.
No. Kenny. Aye.
Beautiful. Margaret is not here.
Kenny,
yes.
You want to do the results?
I was thinking about it last night. Remember that week? I just made them up. I was going through. I thought,
Mario's won the under 18s. 3-1.
Wolves got beat or something. I thought, I think Wolves supporters. So
Just change it.
I started reading the wrong results. Just the market sound better for that.
20 seconds.
Market's got this in the squad.
Do the old 4-5-4. He's 5 seconds.
What did we say? You'll beat.
All right.
Alright, mics are on.
Kenny.
Mics are on. Yes, and the final whistle blows today on the longest running football show in this country, Talking Football. So all the mics are on. We've a cast of thousands in here, so I'll pass over to the walking, talking encyclopedia of football in this state, in this country, in the world. I'll pass it over to you.
Did you say walking?
Well, limping.
Well, I've been limping for the last 20 years, but I'm still there.
Yeah,
What a great cast we've got this morning, eh?
Yes,
Celebrities, top class.
Do you want to introduce everyone?
No, you can do
No,
it.
I think you should.
He's been limping because his wallet's still on his shoe. That's how he's been
I'll
limping.
leave Eric Norman to do some of the calls, and Gary calls and do some, introduce 2 or 3.
Make sure you into your mic as well. So if we're going to Peter, we'll pass over to you quickly as we work through.
Sure, I don't mind.
We're going to have to. You're going to have to work. Bear with us this morning as we work through, and we're going to rotate all the ex-panel members and people that have contributed to football over the years, in particular to this show over the 25 years that it's been going. So yeah, let's go with it. We'll
Just on the old panellists, I'm
Yes.
just looking across there. You remember the show The Muppets? I'm looking at Gary and Alec there. You know the boys that sat in the balcony there? Not that they'll get all the Muppets, but I just had a reminiscence there. Sorry, boys.
Kenny, they were here before you.
I know. And it was better then.
exactly. It's only gone downhill since then. Peter.
Okay, so you want me to introduce a few people, Benny?
Well, let's get someone who's actually got half a brain and doesn't want to take the mickey out of our well-respected guests that we've got in here.
Oh, is there somebody
Kenny?
outside?
Yeah, that's right.
Now look, these people well-known football identities throughout South Australia, wonderful people, and have all been part of the show over the 25 years that Donald and Margaret have had this show going. And over the corner we've got the wonderful Eric Norman, fantastic player, great servant for the game, good coach, and a long-time friend of Donald's.
And the nightmare on the park as a referee.
Did he have a referee?
Eric,
I wouldn't imagine that. And sitting next to Eric, of course, is Gary Collist, is another long-time friend of Donald and Margaret, and was also a panel member here for a while. And on my left is Mark Claridge, I think one of the original members. Mark, is that right?
Look, I was like the surrogate son of Mr. and Mrs. Football in South Australia. Yeah, we had an absolute ball. We used to cover the Adelaide Galaxy games, if you remember.
Yeah.
And I can just always remember Con Macris, thank you very much, because that's why I've got the stomach that I've got now. Used to feed us like you wouldn't believe. But we had an absolute wonderful time. We used to even do the Friday night shows, and then Sunday morning we used to come in with the 2 Ronnies over there, Eric and Gary, and have an absolute ball.
Yeah.
And it's good to say that you're following in the Margaret's footsteps of growing a beard as well.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yes, you've got to pay the respects, don't you? You've got to pay the respects.
And of course we've got another well-known football identity, Mr. George Ankle, well-known throughout all the soccer circles. I mean, he must have taken millions of photographs over the years. I mean, I don't know how long George's been doing it, but...
He kept Kodak in business for the 80s and 90s.
He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. And of course on my left is the inimitable Mr. Kenneth Tosh.
I never watched what does that mean?
No,
Is that a good
no,
thing?
they can copy you.
Is that a good...
You're one off. You're unique, Kenny.
Who would have a
And of course over the corner there is Nat Demopoulos and her husband, who have also been wonderful supporters of the
Nat
show.
Harrison.
Matt Harrison for 4 years next week.
Sorry.
It's hard to get used to the name.
You did it
I know.
didn't you?
It's fine.
He does the
It's
same
cool.
thing with
Sorry.
Niall for One Direction. He always says that guy for One Direction instead of saying Niall, but they're whipping you there.
Does that mean I'm sacked now?
No.
No. Well, you might be at 12 o'clock.
Well, if you are, at least Gary's here, Dalton ombudsman, so we
That's
can
true.
go and see him put a long service for him at the end of the show.
We're going to try and squeeze Gary into that gap over there between you, Peter. So,
I'll sit and
so
tell
and that
us.
way we'll just share microphones. So just spread the microphones out so that Eric and everyone can reach. Because we have 5 microphones in here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people
And of course,
plus the others.
the other most important person in the room, of course, is the man with his fingers on the buttons, Mr. Benjamin Dale. He's done a wonderful job in being on the show for a number of years now, and again helping Donald and Margaret put the show together and keep everything running as smooth as possible. And Ben is a great personality around the football scene, very passionate about what he does, and very well known and admired throughout the football here in South Australia.
Thanks, Peter. But yeah, we've all done what we can do to help Donald and
Did
Margaret.
you write that
out.
script for him?
No, I didn't actually, but we've added a few things.
Look at that, you know.
And we've also got Michael Campbell out the back, our executive producer, done a great job over the last however long he's been with the show, putting the results and stuff together. And it's not just what you hear right now, it's everything that's done throughout the week as far as organising interviews and printing off results and going to games and all those sort of things.
So, but Gary Collis, he used to have black hair. Who is he?
Donald, you gave me the grey hair, mate.
I think we failed to mention our executive producer out there.
No, I just did it.
Oh, did you?
You right there, Donald?
See, I'll be setting you in order.
I can do mistakes, I don't need you.
The old whiskey memory there.
Now, Kenny, I guess we do need to go out with a little bit of a bang, but we'll try and keep it as good as we can. Yeah, sound like
What about this other celebrity in my right-hand side, Eric Norman?
yeah. Well, yeah. What am I
Very
saying?
quiet man these days, Donald.
Eric, I can never believe you've been a quiet man. Tell us some of your, what happened when you were playing.
Oh,
You're a
you haven't got enough time, Donald.
Professional in Scotland, then in Melbourne, then you came here. You were a superstar with Adelaide City. You were
Juvenes, Donald, I'm an old Spanish in there, man.
Oh, sorry.
That was good, I enjoyed my football and seeing all the cronies in here, you know. Kenny's asking me questions to how, you know, what, Matt, I used to get up to a lot of antics on the ground, as you know, Donald.
No,
and,
no.
I was a bit of a rebel. I didn't like the referees much. I respected you greatly, especially when you used to kick the ball away and you'd tell me, do you want to play or do you want to go for a shower, Eric? I don't want to play, Donald. We'll go and get the ball. I didn't really want to get the ball, Donald. Well, do you want to go off? No. So, you know, you had to be short and curlies, as they said, but no, my antics, I look back on it, they were mad, but they were entertaining.
Yes.
I dare say, well, I thought they were entertaining, but
They were.
in all sincerity, Donald, it was when I played, you didn't have to motivate me to play the game. I had passion, I loved it, you know. People used to call me daft and all that, but what I knew I was doing on a football field.
They used to call you
They
that.
still do,
They
Eric.
still call you. So, what about this Gary
fine.
Collis? What connection has he got?
He's an umbilical cord. He's Donald, he's the smart one, right?
Oh, what did he say?
He's the smart one, and he gives me elocution lessons.
Yeah, can you get your money back?
You're not getting into. Do I tell that joke about the sea captain?
What's that like?
Should I add my finger on the dump button?
No, it's quite clean. Just before we go on with the show, the old sea captain was about 85 and he's feeling a little bit randy one day, so he rings up the brothel.
He rings up
And he said, have you got a young lady for me? Oh yes sir, we have. Could you send her round? Yes, certainly. You have to have the money up front. He said, oh, that's not a problem. So anyway, 10 minutes later she knocks on the door and there's the old guy. Oh, come in, hen, come in. And she said, well, you better get your clothes off and get on the bed. She said, well, by the way, where's the money? He said, oh, it's on the table there. Oh, okay then. So he jumps on the bed and she gets her gear off, jumps on the bed. And after about 5-10 minutes, he's in a sweating like hell. And she says to him, by the way, how am I going? How many knots? She says, oh, you're doing about 3 knots. You're not in, you're not hard, you're not getting your money back.
That was the end of the
Come on, inside.
Can I just make a quick note though, because I never saw you play, Eric, but I've heard so many stories about how you played, and you played with a passion and with enjoyment, and it was fun. You enjoyed playing the game, and I think that might be lacking in the day's game. I think in regards to the characters that played, and like you watch the Socceroos, and they're all robots now, and there's not a great deal of flair and carry on, and because you're told not to be that way, you're told to go with what we're telling you,
And the camera's on you, Kenny, all the time. You can't get away with the streetwise stuff. Well, I'm 71 coming up now, but the streetwise football that we grew up with in England and Scotland, Ireland, Wales and Europe, it was, you learn it for, didn't have TVs in my day, until I was a young teenager, you know, play the violin, but you picked up for your peers, the footballers that you went to see, right?
Yeah.
And we used to, this stuff, I mean, you don't see anymore, like the throw in the Donald. You'd be playing, I'd be playing as you taught Kenny, and I'd have my throw in, and you'd be running away to take it, and I'd be playing the ball off the back of your back to get it back off me, right? Can't do that anymore, you know? It's all changed, and you just can't get up to the antiques that we used to get at. I was pretty good at upsetting players because I used to hammer them first, right?
You can't do that anymore either.
And I'd pick them up and laugh, right? And they would, then the next minute, what happens? He retaliates, didn't he? Of course. And I think, what an idiot, you know. And next thing he's in the book. Mind you, I was in the book a lot myself. But I had a bit of a verbal diarrhea with referees. I respect the good blokes, all good guys, but I was always right. They were never right, you know. But I only got sent off twice in my career by the great Dennis Grant, passed away. Sorry, Dennis, so you're up there in heaven. Probably giving me a red card, but Dennis, no. Part of the time was you say, Kenny, if you go and watch sport anywhere, and if you see a guy like the great Bolt, they're smiling, you know, they've got a smile on the dial because they're enjoying it, because they're good at it. You know, people used to say to me, oh, you're an arrogant so-and-so. I wasn't arrogant.
Just
There's a thin line, they say, between confidence and arrogance.
Beg your pardon?
There's a thin line between confidence and arrogance. See, Peter gets away with it. Who?
and you put
The thin line down the middle, that's getting wider.
yeah, cheeky, you know.
Well, what about this mate of yours, Gary Collins? He sits there quietly. He's like a lawyer, isn't he? Went to Pounds. Tell us about the Gary Collins.
Well, he's got the recorder in his pocket, Don, so what are we going to say about him?
We'll go to the lawyers, thank you. We've had a good relationship, Eric and I, for many years, playing and coaching them with the state team.
And Coast FM.
Coast
was
FM,
good.
many years, and this guy here, but it was like, I think it was just a young lad then, Mark.
Yeah, I was 4.
And of course Margaret, who's not here today, that's just sad, we didn't see her before she went to
She sends her regards
Europe.
to everybody. She's
She
knowledge
goes-
of that as we speak.
what's she gone in for the heavyweight boxing championship on the wrestling?
UFC.
There's an international bearded lady competition, I think.
She went down last week.
One of the most frightening moments we've had in this station, Eric, if you recall, when Margaret was getting ready during the show to go and play a game. She started putting them shorts on.
The shin guards.
I've never seen legs like them.
No, she was good on Margaret. She was,
It was scary.
she had to be good to put out with this guy on my left hand side.
Peter.
No, you.
Everyone's on your left-hand side except for me, so that's good.
No, Ben, you're a Man U supporter, so I'm not talking to you.
Just on the fashion sense, Gary, he wasn't sure what shirt to put on the day, so he just
I just threw the country.
he just put them both on.
We can't all be on the catwalk, mate.
What's going on with your shirt?
Bit of jealousy coming out of that, Kenny, I think.
Somebody's not right.
You're right, Gary.
We're country bumpkins now,
Yeah,
Kenny.
he's a King Billy, and I'm a King Wally.
And he's not a King Willie, I can tell you.
How did you get Eric off the ranch anyway this morning?
Oh, great difficulty.
The rocking chair would be sitting there on its own like the granny in Psycho up on the bell.
You know when you. Yeah, I've got to say that.
We'll have to do a quick word from some of our sponsors shortly, but what we will do is, even though the show finishes up today and there's some fantastic memories which we'll go through throughout the show, no doubt, and discuss things and have a laugh and go through all those different things. Football yesterday in South Australia had a massive day at Hindmarsh Stadium, so we'll just go through those results, and Peter, I'll get you to do them very shortly, because the winner of that now goes to represent this state on the national stage, which is fantastic. So football continues on. We'll get you to do the results and then we'll move on with that.
Yep, so in the final yesterday between Adelaide City and Metro Stars at won 2-0. Like Benny said, they now go forward into national competition to represent South Australia. So hope they do well. And in the reserves final, Bacala 2, Nollunga 1, and in the under-18s, Parahills 3, Campbelltown 1.
Fantastic, no problems. Okay, so as I said, all the results proudly brought to you by the FFSA, and one of our longest serving sponsors, of course, IHK Services and Jerry Rowling. Should have got Jerry in the show this morning. Yeah, but anyway, very big thank you to everyone who's helped to make this program what it is. Obviously the panel members are in here, but the sponsors behind the scenes, there's been a number of them, and I'll just mention them because Margaret gave me some information here, so I've got to mention here, thank you to Bianco Builders and Hardware, Nick Bianco and Dario Fontana Rosa, Optus World, Unley, which was the Bartolo family, Tony Russo and Nick Pansaris from Cafe Buongiorno, Jack and Louisa Venturini at J&L Hair Studios, Redesign Kitchens, Paul Pellizzari and Davin for the first outside broadcast, Sue Howlett for the phones, Rocco Caruso and Caruso's Fruit Barn, Adams Apple Fruit and Produce, and panellists Phil Webster, Nick Malerba, Aggie Simeone, Barbara Chappell, Brenton Chappell, and she said please any more that I may have forgotten to add them throughout the show as well. But we'll hear a quick word from our sponsors and we'll be back shortly with some more Talking Football.
South Australia, bringing you all the latest news.
I can't remember the referee.
This segment is brought to you by IHK Services, suppliers of the indestructible and dresser parts. Contact IHK Services, your home, 17 Bowden Road, Wingfield, or phone Jerry Rowling on 8347 for superb products and service. IHK proudly sponsors 88.7 Coast FM.
Attention all organisation planning.
So how you enjoying the football there, Joe, all right? Gymnastics, was it?
They're all right, then.
10 seconds in the background.
There's nobody to look for.
Your details to
While you're photographing, there's no
keeping in touch
stars, nobody who
Mike's on.
like yourself.
Joe, you ready to tell a story?
Yes, you are listening to Coast FM Talking Football, the grand finale episode. So I'll come back from the sponsors' announcements to Donald Campbell. Donald, what's happening?
I'm not any good, but Joe Jenko's here, South Australia's #1 photographer.
Yes, fantastic contributor.
He sees many a game. Joe, where are you?
Come around, Joe. Join into the
I know
microphone.
you've always been behind me with a knife in your back.
Yeah, big knife.
Right, Joe, what have you seen that's worth talking about?
Honestly, the crowd agreed between everyone here. The people that I know here is actually brilliant. And over the years that I've been photographing, it's all the good faces, the great faces that have been involved in football. So it's...
Any big stars of the past?
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few guys that... Norman here, apparently Peter Hurd. I'm looking at photographs of yourself actually. I'm looking at photographs now at home, all black and white stuff.
They must be on papyrus. Everyone's got them on his bedroom wall.
Yes, I did actually. There's quite a few, There's quite a few photographs. There's close to, as you said before, almost 1 million photographs. I've been doing it for 47 years this year, it's my 47th year, and still enjoy it. So I can't get enough of it. I love what I'm doing, but it's a different type of sport now. I think it's not as good as it was before in the old 20-something years ago. There are different people, different football, and it's just changing so much. And I think even the kids are changing. That I'm looking at now is the kids are all getting, as we said before, arrogant sort of thing in certain stages that they think they know it all and they want to be up there without even going through the process of football. It's
a bit of a generational thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about the players near the touchline like Eric Norman? He must have been about a handful.
Yeah, I've got a few photographs of sitting on the ball and things like that. And
tell us about that one.
Well, I think he was just sitting on the ball that I got some photographs of that he's dribbling around, then he sat down there, nobody came to him, so he sat on the ball and just waited for someone to come to him. So
Pretty boring stuff, Joe.
Yeah, right.
Boring, man. It was good for the playing rallies Australian 11.
Wasn't that an Australian Cup final?
Possibly. Mark?
Joe, the thing though now with social media and you're obviously out there on Facebook and what have you, you find now your photography gets out to a far wider audience.
Oh,
and a lot more
absolutely.
people
Absolutely,
get to see those images.
Yeah, people see them. I have trouble with this generation stuff of technology. I put them on Facebook, and people see them, people like them, people talk to me about them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's great.
How have you seen it change you over the period? I'm imagining you in the good old days, where in your black room. Is it a black room you used to call it? The dark room, with the things and putting them on the wall. And
Eric's got one of them too.
when Peter was playing, he remembers you putting that logo at the top of your head, you know, that big box you'd have, and you had the big bulb, you had the big bulb in your hand, and poof.
The hardest part was getting the gunpowder for the game.
But I'm joking about this, but you would have seen even technology changing in all of these years.
Technology's changed a lot with the digital stuff. You don't have to do films anymore. It's just, if you're bad shot, you just delete it and things like that. With films, you have to take about maybe 6 or 7 rolls through a game, if not more.
Yes.
And you hoping for the best when you develop that you've caught the stuff, caught the ball or anything like that. Now you can miss the ball, you put a ball in, and it's all computer stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Plus, you got cars that you can actually drive to the game.
Yeah,
don't
that's-
you?
yeah,
Instead of buggy.
Pumping around with all those wheels of film on the way back would have been terrible.
Joe, it's interesting comments from all of you. I think what we do really bad, not just in South Australia but across the country, is we don't recognise our past heritage of the football, the players, the administrators, we do nothing. And you've got a million photos, Joe. We should be looking at somehow turning that into some sort of acknowledgement of where the kids can go and see who played the game. You know, I think we're very bad. We don't want to know what happened in the past.
Are we still looking at doing something? There was talk at one stage about like a museum or
Yeah,
something.
I'm involved with the museum
Yeah.
down there now, and we go there every Monday morning. We try to put everything together, so getting some information, photographs, trophies and stuff like that. It's starting to get on the computer, and also it's just getting everything in the right order and stuff like that. And
Because Nat would obviously have hours and hours of footage and stuff.
About 300 games.
yeah. So it's just sort of
Radicano.
hard to, Radicalo, trying to get all these things together and put it in some way. We're trying to get it where you can actually go to a room we might have eventually, where you press a button, Peter Hurd, and all Peter Hurd stuff comes up.
Nothing
Stuff-
goes.
30 seconds.
Once you've done that,
Use yours as an example.
What's that in the toilet? Because it'll be a very big room.
Yeah, we said, photograph we're here.
I'm going to ask you a question, because Joe, you've been recognised in football. Joe, you're one of the most recognisable faces in the game. You're at a lot of the games, you took the photographs. Has the Federation recognised you, like the Hall of Fame sort of stuff, or any of that sort of
No,
thing?
that's nothing there. It's nothing.
But the problem with that is someone has to go through the process of doing the nomination. You know, that's the thing. So unless you're going to do it yourself, you're going to have to go, oh, hey mate, here's the
How did you
photo.
go when you tried to eat yourself?
Well, I nominated myself, but they just sent it back, yeah.
But even as an idea, like even the
You can't nominate yourself.
even the FFSA banner, like could you imagine that as a collage of photographs that he's created over the years? Like, how cool would that be? Like, you know how people do that with photographs and put all together and create letters?
I'm trying to get 3 books actually going, like 70s to 80s, 80s to 90s, 90s to 2000s and beyond, and trying to get that, and trying to just get all the good people that were involved, basically, and not the good people, but a lot of the many top players, and make stories about them in each book, and carry that through, and do something like that, and have somewhere where people can see it, and so that's the main thing.
Didn't the Federation have something like that 9 or 10 years ago?
No, it started and then it fell through, and then committees changed and other people changed, so that went to the back shelf and stuff like that, and then they come up again and things like that, so yeah.
Well, that's why you should take it away from the football people, Joe, I mean, in a sense, and get some funding for it, and get a few people together to do it that aren't biased in any way. Because you look at some of the people, some of the players, Nilo. Look at Nilo.
This is Grace.
What acknowledgement? What a great player and his achievements.
Yeah.
I don't see his name anywhere. We could have, we spoke about it 20 years ago in Highmar Stadium. Morning, Raz.
Good morning.
Highmar Stadium, where we'd have all these photos on the walls when the kids would go through. The history of South Australia was there, and it's hard. There's so many good players. I know you can't put them all in the Hall of Fame or acknowledged, but
Gary, just on that, do you think that part of the reason why the younger generation coming through don't respect it is because they don't know about it? Because there isn't anything to sort of go about? I mean, I talk about Donald quite a lot because the new generation that comes through don't really know what Donald's achieved or anything like that. So when you say, it's Donald Campbell here, it's like, well, who's that sort of thing? To a certain extent, you know what I mean?
I was talking to a couple of young lads that play up at Birdwood a few weeks ago, and they're asking about what the game was like in because when you get to our age, they say what it's like in the old days.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was telling a story about Eric the day, he probably doesn't like remembering it, but I think he was about to take a corner, the goalkeeper standing there, and Eric took a pair of women's knickers out and said to the keeper, can you give them back to your missus? The ball come over, Eric put it in, and the goalkeeper, I think, chased you out of our stadium.
Probably because they actually were.
Well, it did work. I don't think there was any of the undergarments was mentioned, but it did work, and it was a bloke, an old guy called Peter Tisos, the old we got a corner, it's a true story, we got a corner. I didn't score off the corner, but we did score off the corner, and I did say to Peter, hey Peter, your missus is not a bad bit of stuff, and blah blah blah. And Peter, he was a good guy, and he chased me to the halfway line. So after it was all settled, I went to the corner, so the ball came across, and Neil put the ball in the back of the net. It just, don't you think it goes on now? You watch the sport. If I'm playing against Donald Campbell, and he's giving me a hard time, I'm bloody sure he's doing it for a reason. So I used to do it for a reason too. I'd be telling them all the stories, I'd be holding onto their pants, their jumper and that. No cameras in the old days, but what did it do? Completely distract the guy's attention, you know. You got on top of the bloke, you riled him. You're fine, it's all away.
So Ben, just that's what I was saying. They don't know the history. They don't know the colourful part of the game. They just go off to training. They finish training. They get the bottle of water, do the hair, put the hairdryer on and off. There's not that investment in the game in the history.
But I think they're rewarded too early. Some guys, some average players are getting paid $600 a week. You're joking me. And I look at these players and I'm going, you're having a laugh, aren't you? And if you get told that you're doing something wrong, they spit it. I mean, say, I'm off ski, and I'm getting another club. You know what I mean? You go. Surely you can cop it a wee bit if you're not doing the right thing. You know.
Anyway, we had our first guest on the line, so anyone who's got a set of headphones wants to chuck them on. If not, it's going to be very boring for you because you're not going to be able to hear what's going on.
This man's been involved with soccer for many, many years.
Chuck your headphones on, Donald, so you can actually hear him.
I don't want to hear him.
You don't want to hear him? That's fine.
For many, many years.
Don't introduce him yet until you've got headphones on because I'm about to push the button. Right? Now you can introduce him.
Sam, can you hear me? Sam, good morning. Sam Chickenell, of course, South Australian Soccer Federation, #1 man, who's going to... Hold on, we can't hear him.
Yes, because he's not talking.
Are you with us, Sam?
Thank God this is the last shot. It's not the first shot.
You can't hear it? Your headphones might not be plugged in.
Is it plugged
Yeah,
in?
try that.
Hang on, Sam, we're just...
Good morning, Sam. How you going? We end as we started.
We're all retired.
Can you try
Are
again?
you with us now, Sam? Yeah.
You with you all the time, though.
These idiots around me are something talking me. Come on, attack me, Sam. Good morning, Sam, and welcome to Coast FM, last edition. Welcome. Oh, pretty good. It's not to say it's the last. There might be something down the track in time to come, but not at the moment. Maybe in about 40 or 50 years.
Coming back.
But Sam, it's been a great venture, and all these guys that are in the studio just now, plus Margaret, she's been an absolute tower of strength here. Everybody we've got in the studio have been great contributors to the game, and it's a pleasure to work with each and every one of them.
Sam, can I just ask you, just from a question to yourself, Adelaide United, Sam, and then over to the FFSA, what kind of difference in the challenges have you had? You know, obviously, as a CEO of a National League team and now involved in the actual federation.
We're there, Gary, and that's in our management committee right up. Basil and Tony Campbell, anyway, a lot of for me, to see Adelaide United put in a a club that was representative of all South Australia. Having an open one in today's market is that having an open by on top of the relationship, you know, on behalf of all clubs, on behalf of all football fans for South Australia. You obviously had to go to a more professional commercial type model. The A-League club owners, whether it's Adelaide United, whether it's Melbourne Victory or Melbourne City, their job is to participate in a professional league. The job is to win trophies, but also a part of player development pathway. But for the SFSA, the SFSA is their responsibility for the whole football ecosystem. It's the big ecosystem. Whether it's juniors, whether it's football, whether it's girls, whether it's boys, whether it's men's from our 3 levels of NPL, there's a lot of different parts that make up that. The challenges are for the MMA and member federations to ensure that they've got right plans for football so grow to be relevant to the number 1 participation for. You all know that. The numbers involved joining the USA, joining the sports commission. What we've got to do is make sure that we have money development help club in terms of sustainability, help club club infrastructure, help club in terms of providing a great pathway for kids. Don't play and enjoy the game. It is social equity and the sport provide a pathway to be able to aim for to play for a game, play for well, great without provide great support very proud of that. Our federation
Sam, we got a great soccer man here on the left-hand side. You might remember the old bloke with white hair. Gary Collis.
Yeah, joined the break it down a bit.
Sam, just very quickly, you mentioned the eco of the game, and we call it a family, and we've had an estranged part of the family for many years, and we've all worked hard trying to bring them in. How close are you to the amateurs becoming part of the federation?
We had quite a discussion. I'm confident, Gary. I'm confident that we can put some good reasons to council and other associations about the game with this
Sam, it must be a great concern to you. The local cup finals yesterday attracted just over 2,000 people. How are you going to get more people to the games, especially the finals?
Yeah, you know what? It's can't really strong numbers for the finals out of the stadium.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a company that give a good thing to work out, exceptional attract their supporters to another 18 reserves, but we want to keep around for the environment. And what we are going to do, and we've got with the we are going to have a more
Well, Sam, do you get the marquee supporters here at Coast FM? Because there's 10,000 just been listening to you. Everything you say is positive. Sam, you're a great contributor to soccer here in South Australia, and I hope you continue to be so. Thanks for your time in Coast FM. Thanks, Sam.
I just want to say that, I think the excellent career, not parallel information, but I know positive advocate and ambassador for our sport every
Thanks very much, Sam. Much appreciated. I'll take the check in the post. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks a lot, Sam. Okay, bye. Yes, Kenny, you wanted to say something quickly before we go to a break?
Oh, no, really quickly. I don't know if you even know this, that Margaret spoke to you about this, but we've been organising a night, just as Sam was mentioning, you've done a lot in the game. We've been organising a night for you. So what we're going to do, we're going to call it a night with the Dawn. It's the 15th of September at Croydon Kings Ground. And we're going to invite all the people that you've known all the time.
It's a bigger ground, Sam.
Mind you, keep in mind that there is a price that's involved, so his friends probably won't come.
I thought Don was paying for it.
If it's Donald's friends, we have it in a bush shelter.
Telephone box,
Pardon me for speaking while you interrupted there, Bennett. Anyway. Now we're having a night for you, Don. So for anybody who wants to come, we'll put it on Facebook and that sort of stuff. It's early days yet, but we've logged the day in. It's the 15th of September at Croydon's Ground, at Croydon Kings. $65 a head, which is a 4-course dinner. More details to come, and thanks to Matt Berzali and his wife. So anybody wants tickets at the minute, you can ring Daniela on 0467 491 454 to come along. And as I say, there'll be more updates on Facebook and whatnot. Benny's on it on Facebook all the time, so you'll be able to catch the stuff on there. But we're going to have a night for you, just to celebrate what you've done in the game. All right?
Much appreciated.
No worries.
Thanks very much.
And as I say, everybody should get on board and and rock and roll.
Is it going to be a bit like a roast, Kenny? You know?
Hopefully, yeah.
A bit like Charlie's Diner where you can eat.
Young Charlie.
It's a bit more like an old boy.
It's a fantastic thing you've done there, Kenny, agreed, and there's a few people that have come on board with that, and I'm sure, no doubt, there'll be rules.
Just anybody didn't get the number there, so it's Daniela on 0467 491 454 for tickets now, and as I say, there'll be more updates coming on.
Excellent.
Kenny, it's not a fancy dress ball where the referee's got it, is it?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It could be. Alright guys, well it's just coming up to 11:15, Sunday the 25th of June, 13 degrees, looking at the top of 16 today. Yes, we'll be back shortly, Donald, with some more talking football.
We're cool with that. Well, there you go.
In regards to the phone interviews, they're not ring interviews. They're just ringing just to sort of say blah blah blah. Okay. Well, that was a good question, sorry. It was actually good information.
45%.
Because basically they're just going to be like 5-10 minute sort of spaces just to come in and say basically what Sam said. That was good information. What's that phone number?
Hey, how's that, Raz? 0467, yeah. 491.
Long time no see.
454. So what, she's going to do an invitation thing up and then we'll put it on Facebook and then chuck it right out. So there'll be tables at 10. And we're going to try and get as many invite them all down and Paul Waits and all them and see what happens. And then we're going to do it like a whole sort of thing. But he'll sit up on the stage.
Gary had a turn.
Somebody did the concert and then even Matthew Cream and then he's been in the and then because he's got a lot of shit.
10 seconds, we're back
have an
on.
option for that.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Mics are on. Yes, thank you to all the sponsors, of course, helping us to stay live and local 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, your community radio station, 88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM, the grand finale episode of Talking Football, Donald.
Yeah, a lot of people tend to think, and quite rightly so, it's 25 years we've been talking soccer, but in actual fact it's been nearer 30 years, because we used to do it on a Friday night as well as a Sunday, so we did it on Friday, we did it on Sunday. Mark will remember that.
Yeah.
We used to have the preview show on a Friday night, or we even did the commentary live from Highmarsh for a number of games. Even the very first game that Adelaide United played, Mark won against Brisbane Strikers. And I laugh now when they say, oh, we've got a big crowd tonight of 7 or 8, 10,000 people. That night, the crowd was the capacity was about 15 or 16, and there was over 17. They were in the walkways, they were everywhere. And when we scored the winner, it was just phenomenal. I think it was Campbell that scored the winner.
1-0.
And
2-1 or 1-0?
1-0. And the whole place shook that night. And everybody looked at each other, and big raps for Gary and for Donald and Sam and all those people that got it off the ground, because there was a lot of doubters at the time, and everybody looked at each other and went, yep, this is going to work. And they had a fantastic season, brought through a lot of good young players and guys that are still in the game. So.
Well, they were talking about even just doing those corners in like they did for the, remember when they had the Olympics?
And not to forget who was a great supporter, Gordon Pickard.
Absolutely.
He really is a great supporter in
We're
the
going
club.
to try to get him for Friday night.
Yeah, we'll certainly invite Gordon down there, I'm sure.
My mum let me off the school that day for the first game I had Leeds United. I was only 12 at the time there.
You've never grown up.
I'm going to, because I was starting over the show and we don't. But my brother's, because he listens every night in Scotland, so I asked him if he would record something, because you recorded stuff last week. And
yes, I did. I've got some more on you this week.
And it was crap that you recorded. So no, the stuff he did was rubbish.
Tell him how it is.
So
You're all right, Ben.
Kenny, could you get your brother to ring? My brother is 88 today.
Is he?
He's Alpha 760577.
No. Well, yeah, I'll tell you what he asked.
Take the milk up.
He wrote something and then he says, who's the old man that was speaking? And I've gone,
Break it down a bit.
he went, no, the Scottish boy. I went, Donald. He went, and then I said, no, that's Eric.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, his message was, good morning everyone, it's been a pleasure listening to Talking Football most Saturday nights there. For the last few years, I really don't know why you've put up with Kenny's banter for so long. We could keep that bit out. As I said, it's been enjoyable. Hope you enjoy your Sundays off as much as I enjoy my bed. Good luck to all for the future. Hail, hail.
Nice.
Yeah, what we probably listen to every week. I don't know what he's going to do now.
Might go to bed early. What we can do while we wait for our next quick interview, and as I said off air, pretty much the interviews at the moment are pretty much just to come and say well wishes and best wishes for Donald and congratulations on the career. So we might just go with some of those messages. So if you want to put your headphones on, otherwise I'll turn the mics off and we can probably all hear it. So we'll give it a go anyway. And where am I? Bear with me. go with this.
Congratulations, Donald and Margaret, for 25 wonderful years of the footy show on Coast FM. You've covered football overseas and nationally, but especially our local game here right here in South Australia. You've given great coverage to the beautiful game that we call football, and I'm sure there's thousands of local players who appreciate all the coverage they've given and all the wonderful interviews that you've done over the journey and over this long time. And I personally thank you for this, and all the interviews I received from the show has been fantastic, and I really appreciate even coming on and speaking to you both. Sunday mornings won't be the same anymore, so I'll have to find something else to listen to now, and it'll be very hard, otherwise I'll probably just have to sleep in now, but from the...
That's annoying.
I think he was going to say.
From all... Thank you for the great coverage and service you've given to the game in South Australia. So once again, thank you, and I'm sure we'll see you around at the local game.
Okay, so bear with me, that was from Ange Costanzo, of course, which was a major contributor to that first season of Adelaide United.
It certainly was.
Margaret, Donald and the team at Talking Football, it's Michael Carter. On behalf of the entire football family, I'd like to thank you both for your long-standing contribution made to football in South Australia. It has been a pleasure talking to you all on a Sunday morning, and you and your show will be sadly missed. I wish you all well and look forward to catching up at a game soon. All the best.
Yes, thank you, Michael, and I'll just keep working through these and see how we go. Hopefully it's working well for everyone.
Hi Donald and Margaret, this is Val Migliaccio from The Advertiser. I have had the pleasure of knowing Donald since I was about maybe 5 when he started. When I noticed he was a referee in Blue Park, I can honestly say he was the best referee and still is the best referee Australia's ever had. Margaret I met, I reckon the first time perhaps during the release of the book, The Campbell Files. I've still got that one in my top drawer, signed by Donald. A fantastic read, but it's sad to see that your radio show is coming to an end. Obviously, it's been a great 25 years, and you've really done the work that maybe no one wanted to touch in the early 1990s, and of course, now football, the world game, is really hitting its mark here in South Australia. But you've been great for this 25 years. Obviously, you've brought us plenty of fun, plenty of information, and always good times. Sad to see you go, but hopefully now you can enjoy your Sunday mornings, maybe playing golf. Who knows? All the best, guys. Bye.
Yes, and thank you for that one. And one last one, then we'll move on, guys. So thank you for bearing with me as we go through this.
G'day everyone, it's Matthew Cream here, just wanting to send my best to the Coast FM team. Obviously he's shown a lot of support for football in this state, and for myself in particular. Very grateful for every opportunity they've given me to come on and tell everyone what I'm doing, and more importantly thank everyone for all their help in helping me get to where I got. So Donald, Margaret and everyone else that's made Coast FM football show what it has been over the last 20 years or so of my career. We all appreciate everything you've done, and we're sorry to see you go, but thanks again for everything you've done for us and the football community in the state. It's very much appreciated. Look forward to seeing and hearing from you somewhere sometime soon. Thanks, bye.
Fantastic. Now all our mics are back on, so we can all take the mickey out of anyone that we want now, because we've got an hour and 7 minutes to go, and then you can be... You can't be sacked, hopefully.
No, well, you can try. But then just a wee bit addition to what's been mentioned, very appreciated, like Rob getting a fair bit of praise, but really Margaret's the one that should get praise. She's done, as you know, particularly in the last year or so, what she has contributed to the game here in South Australia. Great supporter, considering somebody like her, she can't play to save her life. But she has done a lot in that to help me. Margaret, he came back 30 years. But Margaret should get all the praise. Don't know what I've done, I'll get a drink.
She's a great player, she makes up the whole back four.
Margaret,
tell her that.
Margaret was and is one of a kind. She to put up with what people don't understand, and so we'll just let you in a little bit into the world. The 15 minutes before we used to go on our Friday night, Sunday morning, it was absolute bedlam. There was abuse flying everywhere, all from Donald, mind you. And Margaret would just put up with it, and say a few choice words. And then we get on the air and it'd be, good morning everybody, everybody's happy.
Couldn't you do that in her voice, Mark? Can you have a go at that?
People always used to say to me, who is that?
They used to do to me.
Her voice, she's gone through like a shredder. But she is the most lovely, down-to-earth and hard-working lady, and to put up with all us blokes over the years, because we've given her so much rubbish, and she just keeps on keeping on. She would, along with Donald, and I honestly, when you talk about that Hall of Fame or a gallery or whatever, we need to find the infamous black book, because Donald has a black book with all the names of all the football stars around Australia and the world. And I tell you, that's got to go on display, because there's some mobile phone numbers on there that people would pay good money to see.
Shane Warne?
He kept texting Margaret.
But just touching on that, Don, and that was one thing when you invited me on the show to start doing this stuff, that was one thing that I really appreciated, the fact that I was able to come in on a Sunday morning, half cut most of the time, but to speak, but to be able to speak to some of the blokes that we got on the radio there, the interviews, that I would never ever get the opportunity to speak to, and they come on because they like you as a mate. Like Simon Hall comes on every week for nothing, just because he likes you and Margaret as people, you know what I mean? So, and that's a privilege for me to come on, and that's pretty much the reason why I would do it, because I get to speak to the likes of Raleigh, Rassett, Hugh. I'm a half foot for Arbroath. There's no way I was going to get to speak to guys like that in my time, you know what I mean? So that's a privilege for me.
Yeah, well, we didn't have enough people to make up the panel, so we had to get someone in.
But you mentioned about the book, and it's just got all these phone numbers and these blokes, and I'd flick through it like Laurie McKenna's and they sort of guys. I would never spoke to them, so I'm grateful for that.
Stormy Summers is in there.
Just going on what Mark said as well, so funny sometimes that Margaret would be in here, and you're right, even during the sponsors announcements, they'd be to and froing back and forth, and she'd get up out the seat and go, that's it, I quit and left. And everybody's sitting there going, what's going on?
Gary did remind me, there was a Sunday morning, and let's just say there was a little bit of tension when we came into the studios. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it was definitely. And pens started flying across the desk, and I'm sitting there going, "This is going. We've got to go on air. We've got to put. We can't play any more ads." And then we went back on, and Mara was like, "Oh, we're all very happy. It's all good." And Ronald's still angry. He's still throwing pens live on air. It was amazing.
It's funny how Margaret can get in trouble for Donald's phone ringing. It's Margaret's fault. It's Margaret's fault if Donald's phone rings.
And if a guest didn't answer their phone, because they may have been coaching or at work or whatever, it was Margaret's fault.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you never took very kindly to people who answer their phone, did you? Hey, that's it. We're not again. They're never coming on again. That's it.
Exactly.
Which is fair enough.
Unless you're a crony.
We've got 2 minutes until 11 o'clock, and we'll have the news update very shortly, but we'll continue to talk football as we got our 2 minutes.
Can I tell you how I did my job interview for Coast FM? I was a sales rep, and I went into Electrolux down at Woodville. And Donald was working security, and I say working. That was very loose. It was very loose. It was called. He had the British football paper. Remember, you used to be able to get the British football paper, right? And he was organising the guests and everything for the weekend. And I said, "Oh, what's this?" And he explained to me, and I thought, I wouldn't mind having a crack at that. So I had to do my apprenticeship. They had to put me on the graveyard shifts. Yes. So all the loopies used to come out, and anybody that tells you that when you get a full moon, do not answer your phone between the hours of 12 and 6, because all they want to do is listen to Pink Floyd. I don't know why. I think it's got something to do with they made their lawns on the weekends, and they've got a little bit of grass on the side. But Donald took me under his wing, and it was just we just had the best time. Whether it was at High Marsh here, but as you said, some of the people, and you could just phone them up and they go, oh, we're talking to Donald? Yeah, no worries. Exactly. You know, we're talking, the coach of Australia, Frank Farina at the time. Oh, yeah, I'll talk to Donny.
Yeah, when
Paul Wade, Simon Hill, Arnie, it didn't matter. Laurie McKenna, you could phone them at 5 minutes notice. And there's not a problem.
He would come on all the time and some good, purely because of you. No other reason.
Ronald Biggs.
Ronald Biggs.
Next door neighbour in the old days.
What we'll do, guys, it's. I wish we actually probably could have done an extra hour today's episode because there's so much we can talk about. But it is the grand finale, and it's just gone 11 o'clock. So what we do is we'll get a quick news, weather, sports weather update, and we'll be back shortly with some more talking football. Stay tuned.
And you got 1.7 Prince.
Yeah, grab a drink now, Donald.
No, my two sons are done.
And we've got you on.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the jail.
I've got a bit of
wasn't in the jail.
I'm Jenny Gates, a medical lawyer who's been
Oh, yes, sorry, not 11:42.
Coming on.
He was good.
It's a mess, isn't it?
No, it's beautiful. It's actually coming over, it's coming over very clear, Don.
Friday morning for me.
supporting the measure. The coalition has slammed it, saying it will further hinder businesses and
I'm having a quickie.
It's all nice. Yeah, we do. The last earnings show, he's still there. You come in, we'll give you a few results. And then we're actually interviewing
When?
If I can
Later?
No, everyone normally knows. Yeah.
What time?
11:30.
Okay. No worries.
I'm not generally drunk on a Tuesday morning, so I'm
Just have a couple free comments. Bring your hip mask in.
sleep in overnight. Residents over the towers by the federal government will do all it can to help prosecute the US court has now charged Ryan Campbell, so money for his 2003 car bombing from Marriott Hotel in Jakarta.
You got me the job.
Says the family
1974, July 74. That was Mr. Channington anyway. You got well with guys.
That's for the union, yes.
My brother's 40.
Yeah. So when it gets dirty, you just turn around. We're on the other side for another 3 weeks. Don't have to wash it the whole season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Campbell continues today with the West Coast Fremantle match on. Richmond faces Carlton at the MCG and St Kilda take on Gold Coast at Eddie's Stadium. Yesterday, Snow played seriously damaged Collingwood Smokes after their 31-point win at the MCG. The victories moved the Power to third place on the AFL ladder. Coaching at Hinkley is full of praise.
Do me a favour. 30 seconds, I reckon, just go straight to every story. Right, we'll come back, I'll upload the web, I'll pass to you. You reach that microphone. Excellent. So you're on with that? You're on with that? Once I do the weather, then I'll pass straight to you, just make sure we can get to the point.
Yeah, I've got it.
Also yesterday for GWS.
So just, did you come back to that story?
Yeah, I did.
Alright guys, so I'm going to do the weather.
Ready? Quiet. All these women causing trouble.
Yes, it's 4 minutes past 11, Sunday the 25th of June, and my goodness me, I'm glad I've got the mics off right now. It's maximum of 16 today, we're looking at with a shower or two, and it's currently 14 degrees. Tomorrow, Monday, get up to a maximum of 15 with a shower or two, and Tuesday, a maximum of 16 and cloudy. And as I said, currently 14 degrees at Glanville. So, without further ado, we'll pass over. We've got more stories here than a librarian, but it's absolutely fantastic. What we'll do is we've got Raz DiCarlo joining us in the studio, which is fantastic. Later in the show, he's going to give us, I'll recipe of, I believe, as we used to do, swan song recipe. But off air, he was telling a little bit of a story, and I thought, well, why not share it with everyone in here and the listeners?
Go on,
Raz, I'll
Raz.
hand over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Benny. Look, it's great to see all you guys around. Hey, Margaret and Donald, the respect they've earned over the 25 years. But go back to the old Ampol Cup, as many of you were talking earlier. The crowds there were really electric, and those people that were playing. And I remember Eric, one fateful night, got sent off. That was one of the nights he got sent off. And as you know, Eric is missing a certain part of his dentures. So, as he's being escorted down to the players' race along the southern boundary of the Highmarsh Stadium, this poor unfortunate lad is hanging over the side of the fence, giving Eric every bit of courage, being sent off, and Eric just turns around like a praying mantis and just overshadows him and gives him the hugest growl you've ever seen. And this poor lad just falls back into the crowd, and the total distraction was no one was looking at the game, everybody was looking at Eric doing this guy. But it was a fantastic night.
Excellent.
Talking about those false teeth.
Who's
Yes,
talking about it?
there was a time we used to, especially when there was really serious interviews, and there was really serious issues in the game in this state or in Australia, and you'd be talking to this guy and everybody's got their headphones on, and the Muppets guy over there, he'd pull out his teeth, he'd stick his tongue through there, he'd stand next to Margaret, he'd blow her a kiss, and you're trying to keep a straight face to talk to this person, and you get off and you say to people, did it sound all right? And I said, why was the giggles when you were talking about, somebody's just passed? And I said, bloody Eric again. Margaret used to...
Shut his teeth on the microphone. She was telling us that last week. Guys, anyone again that's got a set of headphones, we've got another special guest on the line, just an opportunity to obviously ring in and pay their respects to Donald. So we've got Frank Pangello on the line. Frank, can you hear us?
Guys like Donald, Margaret, Michael, these people that keep the candle burning on the game at the local grassroots level. And if you don't have that, the game tends to die away. And I really hope that Donald said to you, Michael and Mark, take a fantastic job. I really am. And I'm sure we're going to come to each other again. But you always want to say congratulations on a fantastic run both as a whistler and then whistling on the air.
Frank, you've got me in tears. I really appreciate the nice kind words you've said, but I'll just reiterate what you'd said about me. I'll say the same about you, because I've known you for over 30 years, playing down at West Beach, and you continued in your media career, and then you came in. But your contribution to the game has been second to nothing in the state. So Frank, from all of us here at Coast FM, well done. Thanks very much, Frank.
Frank, it's Kenny. You know how I like to wind you up. How's your love child Bruce GT getting on? Is he still playing, or what's happening? You've no. I used to enjoy seeing the two of you kicking a ball down the park there when you were teaching them how to score goals. And it worked too, by the way. It worked as well. Yeah.
Frank, you've covered the international game, you've covered the local game for many, many years. Do you see a great advancement in the game here in Australia?
Oh, look, I have. There's no doubt that the A-League put them on another level. But, I like to think that, what's the picture all the guys will growing out
Who?
He hasn't got headphones on, even he can't hear.
There was nothing good in it.
They were all so good, I guess. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing that memory with us, Frank. And we'll have to get going and move on. We've got a cast of thousands in here, and but we appreciate everything you've contributed to talking football over the years, and to Donald in particular. And I think anyone want to say goodbye? So Donald?
Frank, it's always been a pleasure talking to you. You're always very positive in what you said. We appreciate what you said today. Thanks for making yourself available. Thanks, Frank.
Cheers, Frank.
Thanks, Frank. Thank you, Frank.
Rightio. Right, let's keep talking.
I think Frank's probably. I didn't ask him. I wasn't going to embarrass him on air, but you're right about
chase you in the car park.
about his love for Bruce's Day, for the Bruce.
Bruce.
And I think his biggest disappointment was that single that they put together, Ebony and Ivory. It just never quite made it. They tried to do the remake. It just didn't happen.
He did improve, the big fella.
Oh, he did. I mean,
he was a big. He was hopeless when he first got here.
He followed Frank, didn't he? And because Frank said, start knocking down the doors,
yeah, exactly.
Just like Frank used to.
Yeah.
And he started knocking down the defences. And once he went on fire,
he finished up all right.
He drove Adelaide United to a championship in the end.
He went from average to not
stellar season.
Exactly. We've got another guest in the studio now, and been a massive contributor on and off the pitch as well to the game and to Talking Football, Coast FM, and Steve Craigs joined us. Craigsy.
Yes, good morning everyone. Good to be here, and Donald, going to be disappointed. Everybody will be disappointed to see you go, but I go back almost 30 years. Back up the cabin there up at O'Halloran Hill with Mark. We used to do the Friday night show.
Mm-hmm.
And
you wouldn't be allowed to wear that scarf anymore.
No, I used to wear my red and white scarf, didn't I? Back in the day, but no, we won't go there. And then, as I say, on some Sunday mornings down here, and I emigrated in '87. 88, I met Donald for the first time.
This is your left.
Going back to 1988, when I first became a referee, level 3 referee, and
you still are.
Yeah. And Donald, he introduced me to a lot of other guys. You know, when you think of the likes of Jimmy Ross's back in the day. John Miller back in the day, referees, these guys, you never replace those sort of guys. And then after that there was people like Tom McCrow and John Papanikolaou, came on board. And then the next generation was Barry Pennella and Wayne Dade and Keith Bruce Gordon and of course Sam Hazic. We all remember Sam, some great guys. And he was a big Sam, wasn't he? Well, I'm sure he got stories about all of these referees. Donald could write another 2 or 3 books talking about
Sell
all these
10.
guys. But, you know, as I say,
That's to his family.
all these names, and I asked myself, well, you know, who got the FIFA badge? Who got the FIFA badge after Donald Campbell? And I think Tom McGraw grabbed it there for a little while. He was FIFA. But then after Tom McGraw, I think we went on to Craig Zeta, you know, and Craig Zeta came on board when Matthew Cream was a young lad, and Paul Centrangelo, really good referees. And Craig got the badge, but again, we've had nobody since Craig now. And I'll ask you guys in the room, why is that, Donald? Why can we not find another Donald Campbell?
Just don't throw hard enough.
They broke the mould.
There is only one. I think that's where the point, I guess, maybe you're trying to make, but I know that everyone that's contributed to the show is guests. We've mentioned names over. There is only one Donald Campbell, which is why everyone's here today, really. So, talking football, Coast FM, all big parts of it, but we mentioned Margaret's name, but also, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
His greatest achievement for 30 years is never paid for a coffee.
Or anything else.
And don't look at me anymore.
So that's a question for you, Sam, in all honesty. In the good old days of the referees, right? What about the jealousy factor doing with the referees? They tell us some of the stories about why they never got their badges, because you're all jealous of one another.
You do that, Sam. Go on, Sam. Go on, Sam.
Steve, sorry, I thought you were sarcastic. Sorry.
You shut up! You.
Sam used to have 52 cards in his pocket. There was a pack of cards, they were all jokers.
We're actually having something to eat after. I think there's going to be a few more people turning up now that weren't originally involved.
It's a serious question I ask, is that there won't be another Donald Campbell. Yeah. Even the new young lads coming through now, they're all super fit, and they train and they train and they run, but they don't have a personality. They're not a people person. And this guy seemed to be able to, well, again, Don, you could tell a story about Argentina and Brazil. Mm-hmm. And, you know, how you just were able to calm those players down and somehow, you know, finish the game and get them off the park. How did you do it?
Gun in his hand.
I calmed them down. There was more than 11 on the pitch, and they all trying to choke him. I remember being a kid and sitting there with my dad and going, he sent him off. And my dad goes, no, they don't send Argentinian players off. Not this guy. I said, he sent him off. He goes, he must be bleeding mad. And then a few years later I said, Dad, do you remember you said that referee was bleeding mad? He goes, yeah. I said, I'm working with him. He goes, well, you must be bleeding mad. Yes, I mean, you stood up, Donald, and you did what was right. And you did what you thought was right. And you weren't bullied and you weren't pushed around. Sometimes now you watch games, especially whether it's A-League or even at international level, and you see the referees who are young and up and coming, and you can see that it's a sort of hometown decision. They feel a bit of pressure, so they have to give a card, and before you know it, they've sent a guy off with 2 yellows. But you were strong in your vindication in how you did it, and that's, I guess, why you were respected. And plus all these other refs, they've got those FIFA badges. Did they have a radio show?
No. Just to what Crazy said, there was some good referees coming through that had personalities, but then they started bringing in the fitness levels and stuff, and they were good at the players, but they were fit.
They used to get their badges in the Campbell's cornflakes packet. We're getting back to the Donald saga, right? The Donald Campbell, right? We go back 50 years, right? And when he used to play, when I was playing, Donald, one was respect. He used to respect you, knew your name, knew every player's name, whether you're a wee boy or a big boy or a good player or a bad player. Donald had that not to be intimidated. You couldn't intimidate him. I mean, he was just too good. One, he grew up in Partick in a tenement building, right? Who could, see that passion comes through. He's born, he understands the game, right? He doesn't put away any. I remember the incident in Wales, Stevie. I mean, you had to have cojones in the good old days for he put up with it. And this guy put up with it. He showed. He showed.
I want to know what cojones is.
It's a good equivalent.
Let's just move on.
It begins with a T and ends with an S.
They're next to your knees now.
Steve, you're spot on. You understand, man to man, right? he understood it, he had that way of dealing with folk, but he also had a knowledge of the game, ex-soccer player himself, he knew it. When you referee a game and you play a game, he could tell if it was an intentional kick or was just mucking around. The interpretation of the game, he knew it 100%. That's how he got respect for all the, you just mentioned all the good players, all the good coaches. Donald Campbell, he's up there, they call him Don or Donald, right? Or Donny, some of them call him Donny. I don't think he liked Donny much.
And
you know? He liked the Donny Brook, maybe. He knew the game, he was respected.
The big kahuna.
The
big kahuna.
Big kahuna. Yeah, and being a Rangers man, you know. Well, I'd like to tell you my worst year this year was watching Rangers and Celtic 5-1 at Ibrox for Celtic.
That was great.
I had to go and buy a new telly.
I'll have to leave now.
So, all you Celtic supporters out there, you're a great club.
It's being street smart, knowing how to deal with people, knowing the game, and sadly I think Craig's here. Why we're not getting the likes of Donald and yourself.
I've been encouraging it, but I didn't play when Don was refereeing, but the likes of Panella, it was a laugh. Because you couldn't have get upset with the boy, because he would here carry on with you and that sort of stuff. Craigs, he would speak as well during the game. I remember I went back and played amateur, you said to me, why are you still doing this? And I stopped right after that game. I thought, that's a reasonable question.
Steve, who was the wee linesman Donald that used to, he worked for the coffeers, he was a photocopier.
Croupy.
Frank Croupy.
This is a true story. Coach in Campbelltown, first team. Frank's running the line on my side. Hey Frank, yes Eric, I've got a joke for you. What's the joke? So I started to tell him the joke, and he's doing the line, and the ball, we'd be attacking down the ball end of the ground. Hold on, he says, carry on. The minute the ball went up to the end of the ground, he says, hold on a minute, he'll be back in a minute.
Craig, so you were going to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say, back in the day with Mark and Donald, remember we used to have a Roger Depp, the famous ref question, probably before your time, Benny.
Yeah, well,
remember Mark and Donald? You know, I used to think of a quiz question, a referee question, and we used to get, all the listeners used to phone in with their answers, and I thought being the last show, I'll just ask my last Roger Depp question. And this is a true story, okay? This happened in a game I was refereeing back in 1989. Do we remember?
You'll only give it 5 minutes.
The British Supporters Club Championships, which were played at Shoemakers. You guys remember those?
Yeah, we used to play them.
You did, Gary?
I'm looking forward to the story.
Yeah, there was all the British teams, the Man United, the Man City, the Everton, the Liverpools, the Sunderlands, Newcastles. There was Rangers, Celtic. Anyhow, I was reffing this game, Rangers versus Celtic, and it was about the 89th minute, and it was 3-3. Great game, end to end. Anyway, Celtic were attacking the Rangers' goal, and Albie Kidd was going on this mazy run, beat 4 or 5 players, a bit like Maradona against England. Albie Kidd, remember Albie Kidd? Anyway, he beat 4 or 5 players, he took this shot, cracking shot, 25 metres along the ground, it was going in the bottom right-hand corner. Anyway, bloody dog came on the pitch, and the dog stood next to the post and was having a pee. You know, because Shoemakers, there was no fences, public ground, you could do that. The dog came on the pitch, was having a pee. The ball hit the dog, and the dog was standing like next to the post. It was going to be a goal. It hit the dog, it was deflected, and it went out for a corner or a goal kick. Well, I'm the ref. What do I do?
Was the dog okay?
The dog, he fell over a few times. He had a bit of concussion, you know, but he was okay. And of course, all the players came and screaming towards me, Craigsy, it's a goal. Craigsy, you have to give a goal. And I didn't know what to do. So I thought to myself, that's a golden question. As a referee, it happens, you know.
The dog was offside.
I'd like to put the question out to the listeners out there. If you can ring in and give us the answer, if you were the ref, would you
The phone lines are firing up already.
Where did it hit the dog?
In the Kahoonies.
That was the same.
What sort of dog was it?
Kind of dog.
So, as I say, the dog was outside the post. It was going to miss the goal. It hit the dog and went in the goal. That's what happened. It hit the goal, and I thought.
I went in the goal.
Yeah, it went in the goal.
Aye, that's changed the whole thing now.
Sorry.
Oh, actually went in the goal.
Yeah, it went in the goal. Sorry.
Hang on a minute.
Because
Red card.
Albie turned round and of course was cheering and they won the game 4-3.
Was Albie's dog?
Did the dog come on?
Where's your red card?
That's the question. Would you award the goal?
Okay, the ball went in the goal, so we're just
It went in the goal.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's a
hit the dog
Let's
and went in the
move
goal.
on. Yeah, it's a
And
goal.
that was the commotion.
Yeah, there you
Award the
go.
goal.
The dog
Was
was
sent off?
Would you award the goal? Would you give a goal kick? Would you give a corner kick? Would I just finish the game 3-3 and that's it?
And did Blue Eagles sign the dog next week?
So
the dog was awarded.
Anyone who's
that's the question.
headphones on?
Anybody wants to ring in? Yeah, with the answer.
Excellent. We've got our next guest on the
Well,
line,
next
Andrew.
guest on the line is a man who's got a great wealth of knowledge in the game, and it's always a pleasure to speak to Andrew Howe. Good morning, Andrew, and welcome to the Calandrium. It's in here.
Talking circus.
Yes.
Andrew, it's Kenny Tosh. Good morning, mate. Now, you're the stats man. Donald says it's the longest running show ever in the world. Now, you would know all this, so is that a true fact or not? Just say yeah, it's memorous. That's all I'm saying.
If you say no, you're going to start crying.
Earlier today, I mean, the guests that come on, the big names that don't get on, not playing in the game, and that's legendary status in the game.
Yep.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah, go on, Andrew. Are you, Andrew, I look on anybody and everybody in equal terms. It doesn't matter if somebody's been a player or a coach or a referee at the top level in the world, and I've had the pleasure of doing all that. But I treat people the same way, whether it's a labourer at Mitsubishi's or like Benny Dale.
Thanks for that.
I'll go through some names too much in the database and looking at some of the names. The referees,
Let's go.
Chris Bainbridge, Richard Morency, your lady, Mark Steele, and your name is certainly among their guys. With big games, you coached referees back in the 70s and 80s, both on the national, international, national league scale. You're the first referee, you refereed the first ever national league game in South Australia. Of course, we've already talked about the Uruguay game and the lead up to the 1974 World Cup. It was a huge game in terms of football had exploded suddenly exploded with Australia's qualification for its first World Cup. And also some tournaments that were starting to the World Cup. In 1988, whoever it started, top name.
Yeah, Brazil, Argentina, Glasgow Rangers. What more can you ask for?
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, done the Russian national team, the Australian team, numerous teams. Yeah, did it in Perth. You got it right this time, Andrew.
Very good. He's the information behind Simon Hill, actually, isn't he? Simon's the voice, and Andrew's the information. So fantastic. Andrew, thank you so much for having our call today and contributing to the final show. And we know that you've contributed a lot to football in this state, in this country, as well as everyone else in this panel. So thank you very much for sharing it with us today, and passing on your best wishes to Donald.
Thanks, Andrew.
Cheers, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Andrew, what a wealth of knowledge he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it is hard because we've got to keep obviously the phone interviews quite brief because we've got a lot to get through today. We've got just over half an hour to go until the show is over. And when we say over, not just over for today, over forever. And I just want to make it clear, someone called in to ask why the show's finishing. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but what I will say is it wasn't the station. The station didn't say, we don't want talking football. It wasn't Coast FM that said that. There was some conversations that took place about the show, and Donald and Margaret have been doing it for a long time. They deserved the break, and they were major contributors in making the decision for this show to finish up. And I know that people have said, why can't other people take over? For me, this is talking football. This is Donald's show, right? Doesn't matter what happens. If Donald's not in this show, the show doesn't exist. And that's just me saying that personally, but it wasn't the station's decision. So let's make that clear. Donald and Margaret decided to go out on what we consider to be a high. And so today is the opportunity to show our respects to that and for everyone to move on. So for the people that have called in, that's in short a bit of an answer for you.
Look, I mean, there's a bit of a scoop here, and most of the guys on the panel, they know it. But at the end of the day, Donald and Margaret need to explore other avenues in life. They're burgeoning, modelling careers. They put them on hold for 30, 40 years.
She's had a backlash now.
No, I was about to say that the thing is, so you will see Donald and Margaret together still because they'll both be male modelling. And as Donald would say,
Now, thank you everyone. Look, it's talking football. It is a bit of a circusing this morning, but it's the way that we want it. It's the way it's been for 25 years with all the different personalities and contributions to the show. And someone who felt a very similar thing, 100 episodes of full-on football on the community TV, C31 back then, Channel 44 now, which I've heard a whisper is apparently closing today, but so that's another story altogether. But everyone, and as much as we love Pete as well in here, Nat's husband, Nat's surname is now Harrison, but a lot of people did know her for a number of years as Nat Adamopoulos, and also as Nat, I can't pronounce your surname that was before that, because everyone knows your dad. There you go. So Nat, welcome to the show. You've been here the whole time, but yes, your voice is now here.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's it's wonderful to be here. It's sad, but it's wonderful to see all of you people that are participating, the people that are calling, and it is amazing. And although it's sad, we have to celebrate all the things that you've achieved, all the different shows that you've had, all the different guests that you've had on. I only know a small snippet of what that's like, obviously doing full-on football, but one thing I want to let people know is it's not just walk in and do the show for 2 hours or 3 hours as it was before, or the Friday night. It's so much research that has to be done. It's looking at the fixtures, it's looking at the tables, it's looking at the players that are in form, it's looking who's scored, it's looking at the coaches, what their game structures and game tactics are. It's melding the right sort of people for each show to make the show a really good one. And it is so much work that's involved, and I can't even fathom what it's been like for you, Donald, for that many years to be doing that, as well as going out and watching the games and even sometimes having to do inspecting of referees as well, so or assessing. So I really do congratulate what you and Margaret have both done, and hopefully Margaret can be celebrated for her work that she's done in a more official manner.
Thanks, Natalie. Well, it shows all these people in here, they've all been great assistants to me. I haven't done anything on my own. Margaret, number one, and everybody here. It's like a big team, except for Eric, he usually gets sent off. But, everybody in here has contributed to the game. Contributed to coach.
You must have been speaking about another show. There's absolutely no research in that at all. Researching, we rock up 5 minutes to 9 and we're on.
Maybe not by you, but by the host. The person that actually drives the show is the one that does a lot of work. I just also, before anyone else makes a comment, I wanted to say that a lot of this has been done pre-social media, pre-Facebook, pre-internet, which is so much more difficult to get that exposure out to everyone. Now anyone can be a star, anyone can be an internet phenomenon, whereas to be able to do all the hard work and have credibility and have people believe in what you're doing is a totally different matter.
It's been fantastic, even in the last 2 or 3 weeks when the word got out, Coast FM was closing the Sunday show. The amount of people that rung me up, rung Margaret up, and she's in Malaysia as we speak, rung her up, and lots of people. It's a pleasure to know that we made other people enjoy this.
Excellent. We talk about at the end of the season at the celebration of football, but we were talking before, what happens quite a lot is when people like us do get together, it's normally for a sad occasion, isn't it, when we think about it. So what Kenny, what you're doing later in the year for Donald's fantastic, because we want to get together, but not be celebrating people after things have happened, and talking about all these positive things that have happened. We need to celebrate while people are still here, and do these things, and we've got 25 minutes to keep doing it. So,
well, if we go to his roast in December, it'll say who's going to his funeral.
That's my theory.
Exactly.
Danny,
So many times.
Danny, something that Matt said before too, and I think some of you boys will remember, and some of the guys on the panel here today were actually ambassadors for it. They used to have a youth tournament and play at High Marsh, and we had Bayern Munich, and they had this young bloke who was playing, I think, for Newcastle, a young Michael Brooks, who now obviously is on SBS and has had a fantastic career and still involved with Newcastle Jets.
Michael Bridges.
Bridges, sorry, not Brooks. I've got Brooksy on the brain today. Now, but the thing was, we had this big tournament, right?
Yeah.
And to find out about these young kids. And Donald and Margaret did the research, but well before, there was very, very minimal internet. It was like turn the computer off, and somebody used to have to, ride the push bike to get it on there. But we went on there and we did the commentary, and so much credit to Donald, because it was Donald and people listened. And to be honest, he probably could have said whatever about the players, and they would have listened. But the thing is, he did know his stuff, and he did do the research, and it was just phenomenal. And those tournaments were great, and they introduced us to some young lads who later on went on to be big names around the world. So
absolutely, and like Nat said as well with the social media, not just that. You can wake up on a Sunday morning now and you can pop Fox Sports News on and get the results. Back then you didn't have it. We didn't even get a game. You'd get the FA Cup once a year. You get to watch basically on TV. That's my memory anyway. So this was how you got your results, wasn't it? Especially the Irish leagues.
Well, you used to phone. The soccer. You said like a soccer hotline that you could phone up and get the.
He used to ring the one where we'd had the time. Used to go through that process. He used to ring it every 5 minutes to see what the time was.
Talking about social media. No, how is your dog?
They did the research.
My dog. My dog is very good.
It was all saved.
Margaret and Donald, and probably Margaret more than anybody, the research, because when Eric and I would come in, we'd be walking across the lawn here and he'd say, did you see any games last night?
Yeah.
No, I didn't say. We'd come in and Donald say, what do you think about the Arsenal game? Oh, it's brilliant, Donald.
Yeah.
We knew about it.
When I first came in, I got caught by that a couple of times. I was like, a stage fright, because I didn't actually watch it, but I could have just made something up.
Well, that's what we
and I did after, so
I just wanted to touch on a subject where people were talking about museums and getting together, and obviously this night we're going to get together. I seem to remember a night where it was a pre-organisational meeting called about Fig Jam. Do you remember that, Gary? And you know what Fig Jam stands for, don't you? Yeah, right.
We'll leave it at that.
Yes. And so we were going to organise all these nights, and I have a list of players that. There was about 60 players that were on that list, and that's only just touching, the very, very, tipping the iceberg as it was. I don't understand why there's not more, revelry for people that have contributed to the game. I don't know how you can do it, but it is something that you really do need to think about and continue it on. So we're not just meeting when someone's passing.
Yeah, exactly
and
right.
discussions that when we first came in here today, the discussions that were going on, lots of people need to do that, because lots of people have got their own contributions to add to those discussions. And I don't know why we don't seem to be successful at doing that.
No, you're right. And Nat, thank you so much, and what you've contributed as well, and what you've said about Donald, and I'm sure that Donald agrees with that. Well, you stay here anyway. You're here till the end of the show, which you've been already here since the start. We've got Raz over here. Now, Raz, now Margaret would have explained this a little bit better. Don, maybe you can. That when Raz used to come on the show and give a recipe every week, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Raz is a bit of a connoisseur, apart from being.
So Raz is just passing a recipe around as we speak, but we'll let Raz talk a little bit about the recipe.
Thank you, Benny. Look, Margaret did approach me many years ago. Can't remember how long ago, but around food, and she said, "How would you like to ring in and give a couple of recipes here and there?" So we actually did it. So we ended up doing a little segment every week. And so I thought, well, in recognition of Donald's contribution, I thought, what could I do to actually mark my little contribution for him? And I thought, well,
money would have done.
No, I know. Yeah, that's not what you want to be remembered for, Donald.
Not as a lack of it.
Speak for yourself.
Or buying us a drink.
Thank you, Eric. But look, I thought, and Eric's confirmed this, that Scottish people do like sausage rolls. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to create a sausage roll in honour of Don's, for you, Don. So this is Don's recipe for homemade sausage rolls. Now, Kenny Tosh has gone away, unfortunately.
You're going to talk about
No, I wanted him to read it. Kenny,
you're on.
Kenny, quick, sit down.
You have to read it.
I particularly want Kenny to read it because it's a homemade Scottish sausage roll, and it's Donald Campbell's recipe, but I want a Scotsman to read it out, otherwise it won't sound right.
Do you want me to read the whole?
Yeah, read it. Don't take 1.5
Homemade
minutes.
Donald Campbell sausage rolls. Make about a dozen large or 24 small ones. You're smart, Russ. Or 48 even smaller ones. Or 84.
Get
Ingredients: 4 sheets of puff pastry, 500 grams of ground beef, water, half a cup, 1¼ teaspoons of salt. Hope you're all listening out here. 3/4 tablespoon. Is it a teaspoon or a tablespoon?
We might make this recipe available on Facebook.
Yeah,
for a
teaspoon of coriander, dried, not ground. Do not use fresh Donald under no circumstances.
He won't, don't worry.
Half a teaspoon of nutmeg and half a cup of breadcrumbs. 1 slightly beaten egg. You would know about them, Eric. You've slightly beaten a few eggs in your inside. And brushed pastry. And brushed pastry. 2 brushed pastry, no unbrushed. There's no such thing as brushed pastry. In a large bowl, mix together the salt with all the spices and breadcrumbs. Are you doing this, Eric? Add the ground beef. About half a cup of water. Half a cup of water, yeah. Using your hands. Mix all the ingredients together until it's used.
Could have got someone
until it has a meatloaf texture. Well, we don't know what meatloaf looks like. Adding water as needed. The mixture should hold together when squeezed. Without being too wet.
This is like an R-rated movie.
What's this got to do with sausage rolls?
Place the puff pastry on a clean counter. With mat or board, cut into rectangularish pieces. They don't need to be exact. They don't need to be exact. Depending on the size of your rolls you want to make. From cocktail size to large size, alternatively. You can make a long roll and cut it into size desired. Shape some meat logs.
We've got 18 minutes left of the grand final.
Place close to one end of the. Shape some meat into logs and place close to one end of the pastry. But don't put too much meat or they will burst out. Straw on. Brush with egg wash. Bake at 180 degrees oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Serve with your favourite sauce.
Thank you very much, Kenny.
Was that 50 Shades of Red?
Kenny Tosh, of course, Eco Warning Systems, proud sponsor of Coast FM. EcoWarningSystems.com.au, doing it better, proud Coast FM.
It's got warmer in the studio.
And just on Coast FM, guys, because that's what we're on. So, finish up.
Yeah. Seriously, it had the desired effect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Excellent, Raz. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Just one thing. I'd just like to say, look, I was reading a book one night about what you want to be remembered for, and it's important because you can make all the money in the world, you can have all the prizes and accolades you want, but at the end of the day, what you want to be remembered for is the most important thing. And I think Donald and Margaret, over the years, have left us with a legacy of communication and bringing our game into our Sunday morning. So, Don, that's what you'll be remembered for, I think, apart from your refereeing. But thank you so much. On behalf of everyone here today, I think it's a great story. Thank you so much.
No money involved? No money involved.
And Coast FM Talking Football's longest running sponsor, of course, IHK Services. The man himself has walked in, Jerry Rowling. He's a man of few words. Anyone who knows him knows he's not a man of few words, but when the mics are on, I believe he is. But we'll talk to him very shortly. But what we do have, a very special guest in the studio right now, is the chairman of Coast FM, Brenton Marks. And I think Brenton wants to say a few words. So if we can just make some space for Brenton here. Very good. Thank you. Thanks for coming in, Brenton.
Absolute pleasure, Beth.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say on this auspicious occasion, Donald, you've been a credit.
I don't understand that.
I'll write it down.
Suspicious. Yeah. Suspicious.
You've been a credit to yourself, a credit to your sport, and an absolute credit to Coast FM. We thank you very much for your dedication over the 25 years that you've been on this radio station. And we wish sincerely you all the best, you and Margaret, for the coming years.
Thank you, really appreciate those sentiments. It's very nice. Thank you. You could have ignored it, which most people do.
And you checked in the mail.
And the Hungarian.
Thank you very much, Brenton. Of course, Coast FM have made the Opal Room available to us from 11:30 onwards, which is already 11:45 now. So anyone who's listening, if you're out and about, coming back from a game or on your way to a game, pop in and pass on your best wishes as well. We've got some food available thanks to Michael Campbell and his wife, and anyone else, and Peter and his wife brought in a nice cheesecake. Fantastic. So, and everyone that's in here this morning. We've still got 15 minutes to go, so let's keep talking. Barry and Joy as well, Barry Gower and Joy, saying a nice card and saying thank you to Donald for everything you contribute to Coast FM.
You know, Ben, this recipe here, you know, I'd rather have a rolling bed with honey.
A what?
A rolling bed with honey.
No, it's nice to see you can still manage it.
Just say it with your
He didn't say he could, Donald. He said that's what
Jerry,
he liked.
you want to say anything? Please, Jerry, come over.
Come on, Jerry.
We've spoken about contributions to
I'm just
game.
glad does this. You see, Jerry,
Yeah, it was an absolute
he introduced me to
champion.
Puff Gully and Dresser Pops.
Yeah.
I used to love doing Jerry's adverts.
Donald, do you want to introduce Jerry? Because
Yes,
he has
that's
been a major contributor to this show. I mean, there's times where probably, community radio stations, and as Nat would know as well, it's very difficult to find people to support things financially and make things happen. You can do all the research that you want, but if someone doesn't back it financially somehow, it's not going to happen.
Well,
and this man to your right...
Jerry Rowlands is one of the nicest and most sincere man I've ever known. His contribution to Coast FM and to soccer, I know he's sponsored other soccer teams. He's absolute fantastic, and I know he's a bit humble and probably hates me for saying that, but he's contributed so much to the game. We appreciate him here at Coast FM. What can I say about you, young man? You're going to get your beard shaved off.
It's nearly Christmas, and I look like Father Christmas, so it's actually... Anyway, congratulations, Donna, and I've supported the club all these years for you and Margaret, okay, and the fact that soccer needed to be on the radio, to be spread around. Unfortunately, I'm getting a bit old now, but I hope I get invited to you and Margaret's wedding, all right?
Are you leaving now, Jerry?
Hang on, Margaret's on the phone.
Who said that?
Jerry Rowling, of course, a major sponsor of South Adelaide Panthers, and South Adelaide Panthers used to sponsor Full-On Football there for a while as well.
That's
we needed
right.
more people to get on board like that would be great. But look, it is hard, and times were tough for a period there. We went through the whole GFC and stuff like that, but Jerry still had his hand well and truly deep in his pocket. It didn't come out. No, just kidding. And continued to support financially. And like we say, we can't do, the game cannot happen. Even clubs need that support, and it just can't happen without people like Jerry.
I would just like to
Believe it or not, Donald, they're second to Fulham.
Eric, can I, you have to read the adverts.
Yes,
out.
yes.
And we used to take some some stuff out of Jerry's filter. What was the filter?
Baldwin
Baldwin
filter.
filter.
It was
Yeah, he ate the Baldwin filter.
I only there you go.
They still got the old stubby holders. Still got it.
My man shed, yes.
So you could really say that Donald is the equivalent to the Baldwin filter because he's indestructible.
Very good. And what was the thing that you got introduced to? I like you just hearing you say it.
Galleon and dresser parts.
Dresser parts. I used to I was on a Sunday morning. It sounded great.
Yes,
When
I
you do it
have
on Saturday nights.
I needed one of them.
sponsor of the football show.
There's no filter on Donald, though, I can tell you that.
We've got just over 10 minutes to go, guys. It's starting to get a little, well, it's been emotional at times. It's been a roller coaster today. It's been fun. It's been absolutely fantastic. We've still got 10 minutes to go, so let's keep talking, Donald. And we've got Coxie in the studio as well, which is fantastic. Came in the other week, made his debut finally after 25 years of listening to the show, and then he's not been invited back. He's just snuck in the back door. I don't know how he got in, but anyway.
And Benny, I'd like to congratulate Kenny for coming in, not only as an ambassador for football, but his contribution to Coast FM. It doesn't come easy. Kenny, thanks for what you've done for Coast FM.
Pleasure, Paul.
EcoWarningSystems.com.au, doing it better, proud Coast FM sponsor. Kenny Tosh.
I now have to have my hangovers on my own.
Yeah, it's very lonely. It's very lonely.
It's amazing what it does, though, when you wake up in that time.
Well, you could just have
But
another
showing
kid.
an hour later, it helped me a bit, to be honest.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we get up. Yeah, exactly.
The, I was just going to say, Ben, that we've been fairly fortunate in South Australia with our reporting of the game against all odds, because we were the minnows. It was the AFL game, but we had some great people like Tom McCain, Alan Chris. Donald's taken the mantle over all the years, and has been, if you like, the benchmark for everybody, and now people like Nat and yourself, Ben, and Mark here, as he did the show. Been like that mentor, and he might not be doing the show anymore, but I'm sure we'll still see him looking for a free coffee in the coffee shops and at Highmar Stadium and at the games. So certainly from our time, Eric and I, Donald, we thoroughly enjoyed it. We wish you all the best, and we just had a message from Margaret, and she said yes.
Yes.
So September the 15th, the date? Yes, please.
Formal attire.
Is there any truth he's taking up busking next week in the wall with hand-me-out cards?
A very big thank you, obviously, to everyone that's contributed to the show today, and Nat and Pete Harrison are videoing the whole show. It's been live on Facebook apparently as well throughout the show. So anyone who wants to see what ugly heads we've got behind these microphones, you can see that. That's very. Oh my god! And obviously Joe Janko as well taking photos. Hopefully they'll be on Facebook later and we can tag ourselves. Kenny? You
Don't
tag
burn
yourself.
my
There's no
photos.
photos of Kenny without tops. I'm not very good.
Joe, get his trousers.
Alan Pace has just entered the studio as well. And Alan Pace is a sponsor of Coast FM over the years, and with the outside broadcast and live telecast of games and stuff like that. So it's it's a football family in here, and it has been a fantastic show. And I know that when my dad passed away, Donald, you're a massive to me. Peter, we're just all so close, and it's great that we all get to celebrate the show today. And it is a sad occasion, but it's a celebration as well, isn't it? So.
Alan might want to say a few words on behalf of South Adelaide, or
Stir.
We'd like to thank you very much, Donald.
Keep coming. There you go.
We'd like to thank you very much, Donald, for your contribution to our game, and wish you all the best in your retirement, mate.
Cheers. Much appreciated. These are the guys you have to thank. These are the ones that have been involved with the game as long as I have, and longer in time.
I'd like to thank him for staying on in some form or another. But I don't know that that's going to happen.
Look, it is what it is. But like we said, I think when I spoke to Margaret and when it was talk about the show finishing up, it was sad, but you've been involved in that decision, so it's been a positive thing that you've been able to go out. 25 years, massive achievements, a celebration, and you go out on a high, and everyone's here to help celebrate that. So that's fantastic.
Just to let you know, I'm joining Simon Hill next week.
Oh, now why are you leaving?
The bus is passing his place.
He's saying, no, you're over the hill.
So Donald, you know
to tell the truth, that's true up north.
We've got just less than 7 minutes to go. Donald, is there anything that you want to say? I mean, you've said a bit throughout the show, and I know it's difficult to get it all together and to thank people. You've done that quite well, to be honest. And keep it together throughout the show. I know it's been a bit emotional for you as well. So
you just want me to cry, don't you?
I do. I'm pushing the buttons.
I'd just like to thank everybody for turning up and supporting, not just Coast FM, you're supporting the game, you're supporting yourselves, and I think that's a great thing. We can all help each other, and we hope we can all continue to help each other, maybe help a wee bit more. Eric and Gary haven't seen for a long time. They've come. Gary had an affair with a sheep.
Not again.
I did not have an affair with a sheep, Don. It was quite open.
He wasn't hiding it. He had to go and buy some Velcro gloves.
And his favourite song was "I'll Never Find Another You." Eric, that's better than
I've got a better one, but I won't say it on radio.
That's the sort of mythology we all love. And I appreciate Gary, Kenny, everybody here. I won't say names because I'll miss Benny's name out as usual. But no, thanks very much for coming today. Thanks for supporting Coast FM, and I think we'll all go in our own ways, supporting the game. Whatever.
You're right. Well said, Donald.
Donald, I just wanted to say one thing as well.
No money.
No, when people give you accolades, you always palm it off to everyone else. But like a good recipe, let's say a fruit cake, you're the fruit in the cake. You can't have fruit cake without the fruit.
It's not one of those sausage rolls.
Gingerbread man, I think. But Donald, what about your days managing the Scottish football team in Adelaide? Come on.
I thought, as you know, Eric, there was no Adelaide Scotland.
No, you started it.
And I thought, well, there were a lot of Greeks, Italians, English, whatever, and being friendly with every one of them, because, you know.
You wanted to be popular.
Because I knew it would be England. So I thought it would be great to have games, and we played games virtually every week, and we raised thousands and thousands of dollars for crippled children and spastics.
And it was good for the Scottish community football players.
I don't mean spastics.
We were involved.
People they collected a lot of money for them.
Yeah.
And I think all the players at that time, English and Scottish, despite the English being tight, all the Scotland boys were really good.
I played a few times with the Scotland team. I tell you, one of the games that was memorable for me was playing up at Para Hills, and Trevor Brooken was playing for England, and Bobby Ferguson was in goals. Trevor Brooken was like a Mercedes, just cruising past everybody. Nobody, and that was his Eddie's career. Nobody getting away, and he was a marvellous player.
Yeah, well, Stephen Gerrard now comes out to play for Liverpool, and he's the best man in the park.
Still banging the goals.
He's 35.
I'll just make note again, Benny, just about the night coming up for Donald. Just so anybody missed it before, this is a
I'm sorry to
celebration.
interrupt you this time.
Celebration of the show today, but yeah, we are going to celebrate what Don's done in football and in his life. So it's a night with the Don. It's on Friday the 15th of September at Croydon Kings Soccer Club. $65 a head, which is cheap in anybody's book. 4-course meal, Eric, so you can have two and tuck two and with doggy bags for yourself there, man.
Can you get a table at 10 for $600?
You get doggy bags.
You do, aye. Can you got hit by Craigsy on the near post?
Is there tables to purchase like a club?
You can get a table of 10 or come yourself, as I say. Daniela, Mark Brazelli's wife's number we got at the minute is 0467 491 454.
Don't let Eric have that number.
0467 491 454. The 15th of September. Everybody get around it. Get yourself a table with a few mates, and that'll be a good night out and a celebration of what Donald's done in the game. So
that's good. Thanks very much, and I thank you people for doing what you have all done for the game. It's been a credit. I mean, I'm getting the praise just now and loving every minute. But you are the guys that have done it. Yeah, good. I congratulate all of you, even
John Duffy. Oh, Johnny.
Thanks,
Johnny Duffy.
Eric Norman gave me my first grey hair.
Yeah.
But he learned soon afterwards not to do it again.
I was hoping to have a song to put on, but I'm not sure if it's the right song. So we've got just over 2 minutes to go anyway. So
we can sing "Donald, Where's Your Trousers."
We were going to do that, yeah.
That used to be on.
But yes, it's everyone that's in here today. It's again just a credit get it to Coast FM.
Good, Mrs. has rocked up.
What's she now? Hey, there's my son. Hey, awesome.
Just before we forget, mustn't forget the most important person, Margaret.
Yeah,
she's not here.
Yeah, she can't be
but
here.
Her thoughts are here,
yeah.
And I'm going to smack her in the mouth for that.
Yeah, her trip was proudly sponsored by Gillette, as Mark mentioned. But we wish all the best in the
So we have all collectively given her that much crap about the beard. She doesn't look like that. Well, not anymore. Not since the tablets.
She only needed tweezers, not a
Since the
razor.
tablets, she's in fine. But we have given her a bucket load over the years, but without her, and a lot of times
We'd have
in the
nothing to
shadows,
laugh
right? We'd have nothing to laugh at. B, Donald had no one to get angry with and throw pens at. But see, that was the partnership. It was always Donald and Margaret.
Yeah.
And it used to be Donald Campbell, OAM, and people used to go, oh, and Margaret.
That's right. You could see she was the fall guy.
Until she took the tablet, she was.
The operation worked well.
It did work well. Not just to keep you up to, it's OEM and OM. I've got two now. I've got two now.
Got two for the price of one.
So you're now Donald Campbell alphabet.
Yeah. I put that with you wankers.
Now I'm glad you did it because you've got 30 seconds of your radio career is just about over. So
Just under 30 seconds. What's with that, Michael?
You've
been there for when the show ends, you're going to blow the final whistle.
In a minute.
The Campbell's
Yeah, look, we're 20 seconds away, so yep.
All the best, Donald.
All the best,
Well done.
No. Offside.
Red card.
Everyone, thank you so much, Donald. I think it's only fitting for you. You've done the whistle, but I think it's only fitting for you to say goodbye to everyone and to finish off the show for today. And your voice will be the last voice anyone's going to hear on the Talking Football show here on 88.7 Adelaide's Coast FM.
Well, hopefully it's not the last voice. I hope they continue to live for a very long time because you're all fantastic people. I love each and every one of you. And this is so emotional, almost choking as you can tell. That's because my nose is running. If I could get my legs to go that fast, I'd be happy. But thanks very much for coming. No, thanks, Eric.
There's the $1 that Eric owes you.
That was 1937.
It's a farthing.
Donald, we're going to have Jimbo with his jumbo jukebox, but please say goodbye to everyone. Don't physically leave. Just say goodbye.
Okay.
Go for it. Say goodbye.
Goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, Donald.
Bye, Donald. These are all champions.
Can I get a shot of everybody outside?
Sure.